I remember I was sitting there looking at it. I had worked with them and talked with them, and we had done great things, and we were building the project, and I was overseeing it basically, and the Brazilian, and also deciding on the new places for the cities and everything, and working with all the different people, and we were getting the Brazilian, the pipeline. It was going to go all the way down to the end because another group was saying that well, you only own land if you build on it. If you don't build on it, you don't own it. So it's like, well, okay. So and I was building the cities down in Brazil. I was building the city of Brazil, and and so and besides, farms and a couple companies and a couple businesses and stuff and some other stuff. Like I was doing five. They had five planned cities all throughout from Brazil to. And it was all desert anyway, but it was going to get the water from the Panama Canal and some other rivers as well. And it's this great big project where basically I own all of Colombia, all the way from Panama to all the water is coming through my pipeline. $150 million project by 1800, and so. And yeah, and so they planned out the five cities, and they started building on those, and they were planned cities, so everything was going to be done just a certain way. And I kind of messed up a little bit on the size of the streets because we were still using smaller cars back then. So anyway, yeah, and we were doing the five cities, and by the time work was started, of course there weren't that many people down there, and they were building all the different cities and stuff like that for the mostly it's for the workers that would be building the pipeline and everything else. And I remember, and it was like $150 million project plan basically, and and it might have even been a $250 million project by the time I was done, because it was the construction of Colombia, and because there were schools, and then of course fire equipment, and anyway, I started out with this because I was just going to do farms and stuff like that, and it's kind of a cool project because I'm turning what they call a dry country into basically wet and fertile ground, coming all the way from the river that used to go through, feeding into what's called the Panama Canal. And I was going to put it somewhere else. Actually, I was going to put the canal somewhere else. And somebody was like, "No, actually, you want it to be here." And I was like, "I do? Well, okay, let's do it there." And because I don't know, because I was like, well, where should we put it? I was like, and I actually did originally say, well, what about the river? I mean, we could use that for water, and we could do this and that, and maybe we can even get the ships to cross on the river or something like that. So, and I was like, well, maybe no. I should do it. I should just blow through over here where it's narrower, and not do that. And originally I was thinking about doing something there, and I was like, well, let's go ahead and do like a little thing there anyway, or something like that. I don't know. And but the Panama Canal, that was like my do or die thing, and the great big pipelines, and it was 250-mile long pipeline through mountains or underneath mountains, basically, of water pipeline, and this, because I always want to do this enormous long tube. And so it was like super tube, I was like, yeah, let's do this. And at the end of it, I was looking at the end of it and thinking about the last little pipe, and they got the last little pipe out there. And I was like, it's almost kind of sad. It's over. I wonder what else we can. I was like, yeah. Let's go build another country. I was like, let's go build another one. I was like, it's over two. This is two. Let's do more. So I forget exactly what happened after that, but But I mean the Panama and the pipeline that goes down in Colombia, and I actually, like Colombia is like mine, and and so I feed, my pipeline feeds all the water to them. So, and I was like, just a little bit of money, whatever, just whatever the water, upkeep of the water pipes and all that, and plus pay back some money hopefully someday. And I actually thought, well, if they make things, then I can make my money back that way by making things. So why don't I start investing inside some companies, farms and farming, and I think that's when it doubled to $250 million, because it was like $150 million for this and that, and I was like, well, let's go ahead and invest in some companies, and invest in some towns, and we'll plan out some companies and stuff, and then I'll be able to sell and stuff like that. So, we were going into that, and I was going into that phase of it. Like I say, Brazil, Colombia, that whole thing from Panama, that was my baby. And so, and all the greenness and stuff like that. So, it's kind of funny because I own America too, and I named America. I ended up owning the country on top too, but I mean, the other side's mine as well, and so I have to look at the map. But yeah, that was my Panama to out the end water pipeline and everything else like that, and my aircraft were buzzing around doing surveying, and it was like the big thing and huge, and everybody was just shocked and wowed and amazed by it. And actually, in the end, with how amazed and shocked and happy people were, and for the longest time, like they had clean, fresh water, and it was the best water in the world because it came from that river and it was filtered. So, cleanest, best water ever, and that was just one of my epic projects. And then from there, I don't know, less epic. Like after that, was like, oh my god, wow. And I think there was a lot of other stuff too, but like the whole world was feeding into this one project. And I guess I could have called it quits there, but I don't think I did. I think I moved on to another thing. So another epic build. I was like, let's do another one. I was like, let's do another one. But yeah, I mean, and Germany played a big, huge part in that, and so did a lot of British engineers and British surveyors, and I had this huge build team that was just like, anyway, and I think from there we did some other stuff, because after you do that project, it's like, well, there's not much you can't do on this planet. So I can't do on this planet. So I just kept going, and I don't know, I was so proud of that. Yeah, so Lucifer, its sole beneficiary, sole proprietor, Lucifer White Star Lines America, is Panama and that, and also some other countries.